This is the Magnetic Presence Podcast. That is the show for personal brands, coaches, creators, leaders, and speakers who want to command attention, connect with your audience, and turn your message into sales. Of course, I'm your host, Joey Freddie Larson. Nice to see you. Actually, I don't see you, but you hear me. But I know you're listening, so it's good to be here for another one. In today's episode, we got a real special one. As you know, I've been in Sedona for the past month. It's been an incredible trip. And in today's episode, I'm going to share the 7 things that Sedona has taught me about presence. So let's get into it. This has been an incredible month. I got to Sedona a month ago. And I knew that this was going to be a trip that I would never forget. I knew that there was going to be a pre-Sedona Joey and a post-Sedona Joey. This is the longest that I've ever really done a vacation / trip. It'll be 5 weeks in total. I've got one more week here. And I just knew coming here that this was going to be special. I had a lot planned. Of course, I launched this podcast, the Magnetic Presence Podcast. I'm honing and redesigning and remarketing my new program called Magnetic Performance Mastery. Really excited to get that work out into the world. And it's just been an incredible month for me. My daily routine has been incredible. So I want to share a lot of this with you because I think there's a ton of lessons to learn. I've learned a ton of lessons. There's been a ton of personal growth and business growth. So let's get into it. First of all, when I came here, I think I was like maybe a little exhausted, maybe a little tired before this. Burnt out or overwhelmed sometimes is the word people throw around. I don't think I was to that level, but I think that's true of a lot of people right now. We're overstimulated. We're overfed with information, constantly reacting, notifications. We're constantly consuming. We're constantly performing. And somewhere inside all of that, I think a lot of people have lost contact with themselves. They've lost that connection with themselves, also with source, universe, God, whatever you want to call it, whatever you do call it, your own energy. And we really only find that inside stillness and silence. And over the last month, something has really changed in me. And it's not because Sedona magically fixed something inside me. Sedona is a magical place, though. If you haven't been, you got to get here. And if you have been, if you know, you know. So, and it's not just like, oh, I climbed to a mountaintop and found enlightenment. What Sedona and places like Sedona do is it strips away all the noise. And that's really why I wanted to come here. I wanted to come here so that I'd focus. Wouldn't have the noise of my business at home, my studio. I wouldn't have the noise of the clients at home. I love working with you, but I wanted to take some time. Not the noise of the regular family and friends events, just some separation. So what it's done is really strip that noise away from me so that I can really hear myself clearly. You know, you hear those whispers, that voice, and that's really what I wanted to pay attention to. So this is not a travel blog episode. This is an episode about presence. So how to command attention, how to connect with your audience, and how to turn your message into more clients, more sales, more opportunities. So I don't want you to get it twisted that this is just going to be a biographical episode about my vacation. No, there's very tangible lessons that I'm going to share with you. This episode is about presence, is about communication. It's about your nervous system. It's about your identity, leadership, creativity, performance, and a lot about what modern society and people in modern society are really craving and starving. And I think the thing that most people are actually craving right now isn't more information. Certainly not. We got so much information. AI out the wazoo, again, notifications, all these platforms, just stuff being thrown at us every single day. But what we're really craving and really searching is connection. And more importantly, reconnection to who you are. So the world right now is really training people to be disconnected. It's giving us the illusion that we are separate, that we're not connected to everyone, that we're not connected to nature, that this isn't a global world. There's a lot of divisiveness, there's a lot of separation, and a lot of society in the world just keeps our nervous system in that constant fight or flight state. So you never actually sit in some silence. Like people like you're doom scrolling, you're checking the news, you feel this urgency the second that you wake up. You go to your phone, you answer notifications, you answer emails. The addiction to optimize. I gotta optimize. I gotta grow. I gotta optimize. Like I got bigger, better, faster. All of this stuff. The algorithms. I gotta beat the algorithm. I gotta feed the algorithm. All these things, and so many people are reacting instead of living. And that's been really one of the beautiful gifts of this trip is I've don't get me wrong, I've accomplished a shit ton while I've been here, but mostly I've sunk into a beautiful rhythm of living, a daily rhythm where yes, I'm getting a lot done, but like I have locked in my morning routine, daily routines, my evening routines. Life has been really good here. And most people, you're consuming like 100 times more than you can possibly integrate. Consuming all this stuff about everyone. Like you got your sports, you got your news, you got your wars, you got your genocides, you got your AI, and it's just like noise, 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 noise. And you can't possibly integrate any of that stuff. It's just too much information overload. And so as a result, most people right now, we're not living consciously. We're just reacting neurologically, like our brain is just overstimulated. So we really need to connect to ourselves and connect to our audience. So like there's, again, actors forcing auditions. Oh, I got to get more auditions. Always on the hunt for the next thing. Always waiting, craving, needing. Speakers out there just always trying to sound impressive. Creators who are looking to everyone else to copy their techniques, copy their strategies, copy their hooks, be like someone else. Entrepreneurs who are just constantly driven only by metrics. Don't get me wrong, numbers are important and you need to know your metrics and you can drive a business by metrics. However, there's more to life than optimizing your close rate, optimizing your conversion rate, optimizing your EPL, CPL, your click-through rate, all of those things. We didn't get put on this earth to solely be a business metrics monster. So what's happened is our disconnected nervous systems have created a disconnected life and really disconnected communication. And a lot of people think that they've got a marketing problem, a speaking problem, a confidence problem, a strategy problem, a copy problem, a messaging problem. But really, a lot of times what people have right now is a regulation, presence problem, a connection problem. Versus Sedona has really shown me while I've been here is connecting with silence, with stillness, seeing a sunrise, seeing a sunset. I've almost every day I've gone and just sat and watched the sunset. I go for a hike. I sit there. It's like 30 minutes to an hour of watching this beautiful painting play out in the sky. A couple times I caught the sunrise. I'm still working on my it's early here. The sunrise is at like 5:30, so it's difficult for me at least, but I'm working on it. I got there a few times and I was up most mornings by 6 or 7, but the sunrise here is 5:30. But there was no rushing. I'm out here in the mountains. I'm looking at the mountains right now. Powerful. There's Oak Creek running through here. I got to spend some time at Oak Creek, again, really in the shadows of the mountains where it's a different environment there because the water gives life to all kinds of trees and extra energy there. So super cool. Tons of birds, wildlife, and just so much space. It's just vast here. You climb up one of these mountains and you just see for miles. The other day I was at the top of a mountain for the sunset. And I was thinking, I don't remember the last time I could see so much in one view, like the panorama view. I could see all of the greater Sedona area in one shot. It was incredible. And really, for the first time in a long time, I think my nervous system just stopped like bracing. I've sunk into such a relaxed mode, peaceful mode, powerful. And I don't want to confuse relax with like not getting things done. You can be relaxed, you can be peaceful, and still very powerful. So I want to share some lessons from just being here with Luna. And the simple lesson of presence that I get from having Luna here, that has been incredible. You know, she's been with me throughout all this, and I'm really happy that I've never traveled with, never flown with her before. And this time I was able to fly with her, which is super cool. Had her in California at the event, drove across the desert with her, and she's been here with me every day. So these sunrise hikes, these sunset hikes, we've avoided the middle of the day because it's real hot here, and I don't think she can handle it. But just watching her move through the world, and any dog, you know this if you're a dog owner, and many pets, just complete total presence. I don't think she's ever worrying about yesterday, thinking, oh, did I do yesterday right? Did I say the wrong thing yesterday? Fuck, I wish I could fix yesterday. I don't think my dog is ever thinking that. And also not worrying, having doubts and fears about the future either. She just total presence right here, right now. And the curiosity too. Bring a dog out, they're curious about everything. Every path, even though we go down the same path many days, every path is curious. She's sniffing things, sniffing plants, hearing birds, seeing lizards, seeing javelinas, seeing birds fly by. And she's just noticing all this stuff. Where a lot of times we just put the blinders on and we can go through our life like we're in this like zombie state where we don't notice anything. You know, you drive to work the same way and you get there and you're like, wow, I kind of blacked out. So she follows her instinct. Everything is slowed down. And again, none of that future anxiety. And I'll tell you this, Luna doesn't give a shit about algorithms. She doesn't give a shit about launches or her marketing and positioning, her audience growth. She's not thinking about her personal branding. She just cares about the smell of her food, the smell of the morning air, and really whether I'm there with her, which is a huge lesson. I think we could all do that with our family and friends, is just put the phones down, stop thinking about the past, stop thinking about the future, and just create space and just be like, hey, I'm just going to be here with you right now because I love you. That's what dogs do. You know, animals, they're so deeply present. Nature is so deeply present. And humans, I think we're the only animals that constantly mentally abandon the moment that we're actually in. It's a double-edged sword. It's also part of the reason we're brilliant is we're able to rethink about mistakes we've made in the past and reiterate and change. And then we're able to plan for the future and think about the future and create all these incredible things. But often it's at the cost of our own presence, our own humanity, and really our own human nature is just never mind about yesterday, never mind about tomorrow. Be here now. You know, and that affects tons of things. If you're not present, that affects your presence. That's really what presence is, being here now. What does that affect? That affects things like, anytime you're in front of your audience, actors being in an audition, you often talk about, oh, they were present. They were with me right there. It affects your relationships. It affects your leadership ability with your people, all of your conversations, your storytelling. You cannot connect with anyone. You can't connect with your audience while being disconnected from yourself in the present moment. So if any part of your business and life will improve by connecting with people more, connecting with your audience, connecting with your clients, know that you cannot do that if you're disconnected from yourself. And what I mean by disconnected from yourself, you're disconnected from now, thinking about the past, worrying about the future. You're everywhere but where your fucking feet are right now. It's funny, but it's true. Now, the other thing that Sedona's taught me is presence is not performance. You know, the mountains don't perform. They're just there. They're not like saying, hey, look at me. Look at how massive and strong and huge I am. They're just there. And they're not going anywhere. They've been there for, I don't know, thousands, millions of years. Slowly but surely, they're breaking down. But They'll be there. They've been there a long time, and they'll be there a long time. And nature is the same. The mountains don't perform. Hawks aren't seeking validation. They're not flying around thinking, "Hey, look at me! Look at how beautiful I am! Check out how I glide." Nature really isn't trying to be impressive. Not trying to be. It just is. It's just being, and it is impressive. It's awesome. You go out in nature and you're just in awe of it. It's not trying to be anything. Nature has listened to Yoda. Do or do not. There is no try. Nothing in nature is trying. It is just doing and being. Everything feels powerful. Meanwhile, humans, we spend so much time, we spend enormous time trying to manage other people's perception. How do I look? How's my hair? How's my face? How's my makeup? What are they thinking about me? Did I say the right thing? Are they seeing the best of my life on social media? How many likes, how many follows, how many comments, how many shares, how many saves, how much engagement, all this stuff. Like, how is everyone reacting to me? And people in business, you're thinking, oh, am I sounding smart? Am I sounding confident? Do I look successful? Do I appear successful? Am I being charismatic? And really what you're doing is you're forcing charisma. And that's like the most repellent thing in the world. Someone walks into a party and they're just like on, instead of just chill and be yourself. A lot of people masking insecurity with, look at how impressive I am. You see this in the political world right now, where everyone is really masking weakness. Not everyone, but a lot of people are masking weakness and insecurity, masquerading as strength and toughness. But the most magnetic people in the world, they're usually the least performative in the room. They enter and they're still and they're silent. They're thoughtful. It's not just, they don't just walk in a room. Hey, everybody, look at me. I'm here. I'm going to bebop and scat. And here, come on, pay attention to me. Hey, everybody, listen to me. No, they're still, they're silent. They ask questions about other people. They engage people. And sometimes they're silent and people are just drawn to them. You don't need to say a word. You just enter the room, still, silent, enjoying your own presence. And people are drawn to that. And you see this in the acting world, the comedy world, speaking world, podcasting world, the sales world. Audiences don't connect to your fake polish. They just connect to your truth. This person's being real. They're just being them right now. So just be you. Don't worry about performing and don't worry about how you're being received. Just trust that if you are your authentic self, you'll connect and resonate with the people who are meant to. And people who are not meant to, you'll repel them. So great. You don't need to attract everybody. In fact, if you're not getting some haters and some shade online, probably you're not being authentic. Probably you're placating, you're people pleasing, you're trying to please everyone. You're trying to just be vanilla in the middle and not stand out because you want everyone to agree with you. But you got to be polarizing, not for the sake of polarizing. Just know that when you are authentic, you will be polarizing. People can really feel that. And you know this. You've been on dates. You see a comedian, you see a performance, you're at a cocktail party, you're at a networking event. You can feel when someone is trying to get attention versus someone who just gets attention because they have presence. That's what nature does. Nature's not out there. Hey, look at me. I'm a mountain. Hey, I'm a tree. Come talk to me. Hey, I'm a hawk. No, they're just being. And then we're like, wow, that's incredible. Sunset's not screaming, look at how beautiful I am. Quick, quick, quick. Come look at me before I disappear. It's just there and then it's not there. And we're like, wow, that was breathtaking. Now I want to tell you a little story, something that happened to me that was crazy. I still think about it. And I've been thinking about it. It happened last week. It was early morning. I woke up. This was the day that I wanted to do the sunrise. And I had a crazy dream that I woke up to, a good crazy dream. And I woke up and then I realized it was only like 4:30 a.m. Sunrise is at like 5:25 here. So I was like, okay, this is the day. I'm up. If I leave the house now, I can get to the trailhead. I can walk to the spot and I can see the sunrise. So today's the day. So it was like 5 a.m. It was 5 a.m. by the time I got to the trailhead, still dark out. that pre-dawn. It's always darkest before the dawn. And I was the only car in the parking lot at the trailhead. So I loved it. So I knew I was only going to be the only one on the trail. Starting to hear some chirps of birds, little skittering and scattering of the lizards, and some of the nocturnal animals still doing their thing. And went and watched this incredible sunrise. It's beautiful. And then we stuck around. We were watching the sunrise. And I just stayed on this rock area, this mesa overlooking the sunrise for maybe an hour and a half. And then when we were walking back, I'm walking along the trail with Luna, just loving everything, living the high life, like so cool, just invigorated from catching sunrise, feeling good about my life and myself. And I stopped for a second to take my sweatshirt off. It was still kind of cool. So I had a sweatshirt off. I took it off, tied it around my waist. And then I hear from my left ear, next to my head, I hear, I'm like, what the hell is that? And I look to my left, and there is a hummingbird about 4 feet away from me at eye level doing its thing, humming. And then it lunged forward, like at me. Like if my screen is me and I'm the hummingbird, it was like to the point where I had to, I flinched. And I am thinking to myself, what the hell is going on? Am I going to fight a hummingbird in nature right now? Like, is this hummingbird here to take me out? And they have those sharp, sharp beaks. So I'm like, you're going to stab me in the eyeball, or you got something to say? You attracted to me? You're going to kiss me? And I was like, I'm either going to fight a hummingbird or I'm going to make out with a hummingbird. What the hell is going on? And it did that like 3 or 4 times right in my face. And then it just disappeared, gone. And it was just so intense. And the realization that I had after that, or one of them, I had many. I always look up, anytime I have an encounter with an animal, I look up the animal spirit guides and the animal medicine, and what could they be telling you? What can you learn from that experience? And one of the realizations I had was, Sedona didn't magically create, it wasn't magic. There's hummingbirds all over the place, right? But it was magical. And really what it was is there was enough stillness in the environment, and I was still and quiet and out there alone, that I would notice it. And a lot of times we're just hustle, 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 go, 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 go. And we're moving so quick, we don't notice that kind of things. And had I had earbuds in, that wouldn't have happened. I would have been bopping my music and I wouldn't have heard that at all. So that's one thing that I've been doing here is I've been hiking. First couple of days I hiked with earbuds. I'd listen to a podcast, listen to some high vibe music. And about 3 weeks ago, I stopped doing that. I'm like, no, I'm out in nature. Just listen to nature. That's my music. That's the Spotify channel I want to listen to. And that presence, when you have that presence, when you're connected to now, when you're still and in the silence, that really increases your perception. You'll notice things that you weren't noticing before. And people who command rooms, they notice energy shifts. They notice pacing in other people. They notice truths in the audience. They notice the audience reactions, little micro reactions. They notice when they lean back. They notice when they lean forward. They notice those audible gasps. They notice little action, like someone's getting up, someone's leaving, something's going on back there. And so when you're really present, and when you're really commanding a room, you can take care of the whole room because you're just so dialed into what's happening. And you notice the tension, you notice your timing, you notice subtext. And really the people who move audiences, often you're moving the audience because you're perceiving more than everyone in the room. And that's why you're on stage or on screen. That's why you're the leader. You're leading that room. You're holding space for the entire room. And modern overstimulation dulls that perception. Earbuds are in, phones here, notifications, like people walking through the world oblivious to what's happening. How many people you think have died where they just stepped into traffic and they got hit by a bus because they were paying attention to their phone? For sure that's happened. I've almost done that before, where you're just not paying attention and you step into a pothole, or you step into a crosswalk and you're like, man. It happens all the time when people are driving. Of course, texting and driving. How many people has that killed? Tons of people. Because they're not here now. They're driving this giant machine that weighs a couple tons. Meanwhile, they're swiping, looking at text, looking at notifications. Now, something else that I want to share here that really is huge is your environment shapes your identity. And being here for a month has really changed my identity, changed my rhythms. When I'm at home, I'm not walking every day to a sunrise or a sunset. Hiking, I do my best to go on lots of walks. I go to parks, I go to the beach a lot with Luna, but here that was just like tenfold. It was like nature on maximum power. But hiking, being meditative, having a slower morning is one thing I really focused on. Is I would get up, I would have a tea or a coffee. I like sage, so I would sage the place, and then I would usually go outside and I would read. I like to read something powerful. This is one of my favorites in the morning, this Abundance book by John Randall Price. I would meditate on some of the passages in there, and I would do my best to avoid the phone notifications. I got a bad habit of checking email. I have a business, so often you want to check the business and see client emails and client bookings and Stripe notifications and all that stuff. But I think you need to take some time to just reinforce and set your own intention, set your own energy before you let the world pull you in a million different directions. And that's something that I've been really good at doing while I'm here. So slower mornings, less noise, less urgency, and just way more reflection. And, a lot of people, you think that you need more discipline. You think you need more hustle. I got to get more done. I got to grind more. I got to go. I got to do. But really often you just need an environment that stops fighting the person who you really are and just allowing you to be still and silent. Slow things down. And what happens is your nervous system adapts to your environment. And when you've got all these chaotic inputs, a million different notifications, emails, Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, Snapchat, Telegram, all these apps. It's fragmented attention. There's a little bit there, a little bit there, a little bit there. And really what you often lose is you lose any attention on your own intentions, on your own self. So taking that time to slow down, and fragmented people create fragmented communication. So if you're not taking time to find silence and stillness and to really ground yourself in the morning and set your own intentions, set your own energy, what are you passing on to your audience, to your clients, to your audience, the people you want to bring into your world? You're passing that fragmentation and that chaotic nervous system onto them. And this ties directly to our work inside Magnetic Performance Mastery, talking about stage presence, your confidence, your authority, your leadership, your storytelling ability. So this isn't just like, oh yeah, it'd be nice to enjoy a slow morning. No, this is having a direct effect on you, your business, your results, your sales, your clients, your income, your opportunities, and your entire life. So this being here has been a real identity shift for me. It's been beautiful. I'm a little bit sad, although I switch out of that sadness just for gratitude for myself for having the courage to come here for this long and to make that step and investment in myself, gratitude for nature, gratitude for people I've met, gratitude for Luna, gratitude for these mountains, for the sunsets, for the sunrises, and also the knowing that I know I'll be back. So I'm not saying goodbye to Sedona forever, but I feel like I've outgrown some parts of my identity, especially the part of me that used to really, at home often I'm sleeping in, or I'm checking the notifications immediately, checking my phone, checking the news. Also, the other thing here is I wasn't indulging in any fun substances while I was here. So I'm not a big drinker anymore. I like to dabble in the weed from time to time, edibles mostly now. And I just dropped all that while I'm here. I didn't have a beer with dinner or a glass of wine or any of that stuff, just because I feel like I didn't need it. I got nature, like, let's just reconnect to you at a baseline level. I also ate real well too. I ate real clean. I wasn't doing the fast food stuff. At home, I'm just in walking distance to so much fast food. It became real habit. So sometimes you grab stuff that's loaded with salt, sugar, fat, and chemicals. And what's that doing to you? It's not helping you, dysregulating your nervous system because you're feeding it garbage. So it's been a real transition for me. And this in my life is a transition phase. I'm transitioning from identifying solely as an actor, as a stand-up comedian, and as an acting coach into what I'm doing now, where I'm working with personal brands, working with coaches, with creators, with speakers, with leaders, with course creators, and really through the podcast and through my programs, what I see is really building a movement, and a movement that recognizes that, yes, in an AI world where content and knowledge is common, what is the number one differentiator? It is you and your own human presence, how you show up in rooms, how you move people. Do you make people trust you? Do you connect with people? Do they follow you? Do they move into action? Do they feel safe around you? Do you change the molecules in the room, your vibration, your frequency, all of that stuff? And when I was younger, I didn't really pay attention to that stuff. And now I really feel like paying attention to that stuff has been the reason that I've been successful in my life recently, especially. So I want to share and give that back to the world. So the ability, like starting this podcast has been huge for me. This feels like a culmination of my entire life. And now I get to pour it back into you, to the listener, and get to share this with you. The fact that this has emerged, and I'm going to get to think like, yeah, all of this started when I found some stillness and silence in the desert mountains in Sedona. And so much deeper aligning, just stripping away the noise. We all got a lot of noise. I know I had a lot of noise in my life, and now I feel very focused and very peaceful and very powerful, because I'm not being pulled in a million directions. I'm not thinking about a million things. I'm just, okay, what do I need to do today? And I spent a lot of time being on. And I think it's the masculine side of me, that like the yin yang, we all have the masculine and feminine. And I'm not really speaking to gender here. I'm just speaking of the yin and yang of action, action, action versus receiving. And in that sense of masculine, feminine, I've been really masculine, where my answer always is like, work more, outwork people, go do, action, action, action. And that's served me very well in my life, because I've never waited for something to be given to me. I've just gone out and get it. I go out and grab it, But there is a part of me in the universe that I feel like I've been ignoring, where you don't always have to be go, go, go. It's not always hustle, 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 grind, grind, grind. Sometimes you don't need to do a damn thing, but sit still and just let what is meant to come to you come to you. And that's really what I've been doing. There's been so much happening, and I've got so many DMs and messages and new clients and comments and all this incredible stuff coming to me. And I haven't really gone out and done that much. I've been recording podcasts. I do put out content, but I'm not taking like massive action here. I do put out a lot, but more receiving, more trusting, more knowing. What's meant for me will come to me. The things I want are also wanting me. So what I am seeking is also seeking me, and trusting in that. I was always productive, create, build, perform, deliver. And I never really realized how disconnected I came from myself. You need to slow down, be in the silence, be in the stillness. And silence will expose what no longer fits in your life. And in a lot of people, you're avoiding stillness. You're staying busy. You're doing all these things just because, God forbid, I listen to my own thoughts for a little bit. But those thoughts will tell you what you need to know. Like, all of your divine inspiration comes when you're still in silence. It can't come when you're busy, noisy, chatter. Endless content consumption. You're addicted to being productive. I got to go. I got to do. No. And I think a lot of people, it's because you're afraid of failure. You're afraid of hearing the truth. When you actually listen, you might hear some things that hurt and are a little uncomfortable. You hear the truth maybe about the life that you're living right now and be like, oh shit, the life I'm living right now, who even am I? Is this what I'm meant to do? But when you sit in the silence, that'll all come to you. And I'll connect this podcast launch. The reason that this message is landing more powerfully now is because I'm embodying more of it. So whatever your message is, you got to walk the walk and talk the talk. You got to embody that. So the real meaning of magnetic presence is not domination. It's not manipulation. It's not being louder or more confident. I got to fake it till I make it. No, it's congruence. it's coherence, it's alignment, it's grounding your nervous system, having that emotional coherence, what your words and your thoughts and your feelings and your body language are all aligned in the same direction. And the direction is truth of who you are, truth of your message, so that you're embodying everything. And then that becomes safe, that becomes honest, that becomes regulated. And what happens, your audience and anyone in general, people trust people whose nervous systems feel safe. Just naturally, your energy, it feels safe, grounding. This feels like a safe space. It's not chaotic. It's not go, 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 and action, 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 and just unpredictable. It's predictable. It's grounded. It's aligned, coherent, congruent. And the most magnetic people ever make people feel like themselves. And I don't mean making you feel like me. I mean, the most magnetic people make others feel more themselves, more authentic, more connected to who you really are, and be okay with that. And this affects your auditions. This affects when you're coaching someone, when you're speaking, affects all your relationships, your leadership, your sales. Being who you are and helping other people be who they are. And being okay with that. So listen, the challenge here is it's not just becoming present in Sedona. I'm not saying, you got to come Sedona and be present. The challenge, and this is me included because I'm leaving Sedona at the end of the week, the challenge is bringing this presence from Sedona back home into modern life. It's funny, I say modern life like Sedona is not very modern, but it's different. You're out in the mountains, doesn't feel like modern. It feels old-timey when you're sitting in the stillness in the mountains. I feel like a man from 5,000 years ago, some ancient Joey, ancient wisdom. So the challenge is to bring this presence back into modern life. When I'm going through the airport, when I'm hitting deadlines, when I'm on a content schedule, when I got launches coming up, when you got that pressure coming in, when you got business meetings, when you got noise, that is the real work. How can you return to that stillness and that presence? So it's not about escaping your life right now. I don't want you to think this, easy for you, Joey. You spent 5 weeks in a beautiful place. I'm stuck here and wherever you feel stuck. But it's about how can you bring more of that presence, more of that stillness, more of that silence to wherever you are right now. Bring it to your family, bring it to your house, bring it to your neighborhood, bring it to your business, bring it to your clients, bring it to your audience, and really connect with that. So this month changed me. The Joey coming in here is not the Joey leaving Sedona. The river we step in is not the river we stand in. We change, things change. And it's not because I escaped my life back home. It's because I remembered who the fuck I am. And I remembered what life really feels like when I'm present inside it. When I'm still, when I listen to the silence, when I connect with nature, when I connect with myself, when I connect with God, source, universe, something bigger than me. And when I realize, we are all connected. And now I know that the work that I'm really here to do is to help people close that gap between who you truly are and how powerfully people are experiencing you when you actually speak, lead, create, perform, and show up in the world. So here's my invitation to you. What are you addicted to right now in your life? What version of you have you outgrown? Where are you performing rather than being present? And what would change? What becomes possible? What opens up to you when you actually slow down? And you slow down enough to hear those whispers from nature or whispers from your highest self, the divine whispers. What becomes possible when you slow down, become still enough to hear those clearly? Because again, presence really isn't something that you build. It's something that's already in you. You were born with it. So if this episode's resonated with you, and I know it has, here's my invitation. We're going to be launching the next round of Magnetic Performance Mastery. That's my immersive program where we do live training and live coaching with a small group of personal brands who want to command more attention, who want to connect more with your audience and turn your message into more sales, more impact, more clients, more revenue, more opportunities. You can go to joeyfreddylarson.com/waitlist. That's joeyfreddylarson.com/waitlist. You'll put your name on the priority list. And next time I open up spots, which is happening very soon in the next week, and I only open it up a few times a year, you can throw your name on the priority list. You'll get first access to those spots. I always work with a small cohort. We go real deep in this. And my invitation with you is to join that transformation party by hopping on the priority list so that next time we open the doors, you can be a part of that room. We get to work together on this and go a lot deeper. I love doing the podcast for you, but in Magnetic Performance Mastery, we go way, way deeper, and the transformation that you'll receive will be tenfold, 100-fold, 1,000-fold what you'll ever get from just listening to a random podcast episode. All right, so thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you in the next one. Maybe the next one won't be recorded from Sedona. Be back in Toronto, or who knows where I'll be next. All right, love you guys. See you in the next episode. Bye.